This is Dale Hendrick, and I'm Jimmy Hendrick, and this is episode EA 73. The Ambiverts chase for the gold on Empower Your Pattern 2.0. Hi, I'm Jimmy Hendrick, member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Success Confidence and Thrive Coach. I wish to let you know that there are patterns to help you receive more, help you live a better and extraordinary life right now. I also believe that there are spiritual and temporal tips to help you overcome the adversities in everyday life. So if you come with me, I will show you these patterns. Get ready. Let's go. Alright, we are back, Gerald. Why don't y'all come into the Empower Your Pattern Clubhouse? It's the beginnings of it, if you don't mind. Now, we should have set this up a long time ago. I set up with some nice little home furnishing. We're going to the back office where me and Jimmy can talk. Alright? Lots of people enjoying their sodas and all that stuff. Some good music's going, so here we go. Let's go ahead and get started with the 10 elements of the ambivert search for the gold. Number one, ambivert. What is an ambivert? An ambivert is someone who is halfway between the introversion-extroversion spectrum of personality. They're neither ambivert, introvert, or extrovert because they have really a difference in between. And if you have an extreme introversion, it's really going to take a lot to get you to succeed in the business world, if you know what I mean. It takes a lot of guts to really do that. However, I gotta say this. If you're an extreme extrovert, yeah, you could succeed in business, all right. But sometimes it could get your mouth in trouble. Now, Jimmy and I have personally experienced this, so we know what it's like. I know there's been times I walked out of a board meeting because somebody come in with some trying to sell us something, or has some kind of agenda that's contrary to what's going on the board, and I've just walked out. Whoever wanted to could. Who wanted to listen, let them listen. Usually I'm a very patient man. But an extreme extrovert can certainly get their mouth in trouble if they're not careful. And Jimmy and I are living proof. We've seen that. We've seen that. Alright? Now, here in a little bit we're going to go ahead and go on to, well, about a minute and a half, we're going to get into the second part, which is about leadership and the importance of leadership. Okay? So, I want you to look up ambivert on Google. Yes, please do that. Don't just take my word for it or JR's word for it, okay? Now, I've allowed JR some leeway to come out and play, but time is limited. Time is of the essence, okay? So, in about a minute, we're going to go through the second rule, which is leadership, okay? But I gotta say this, when I first heard of the term ambivert back in 2015 when I was doing research for a book I was writing. I wrote and published. It's called The Winning Personality, a Values-Based Approach to Entrepreneurship in This Economy. Okay? And so, now we're going to go to the second rule. This is important, okay? So get ready. We are going to talk about leadership. Okay, now in leadership, this is the important part here. John Maxwell says these certain things about leadership. Number one, the essence of leadership is influence. Nothing more and nothing less. Now, this is in business or in your civic organizations. And really, a lot of people, when they give definitions of leadership, they want to say one who leads. Well, yeah, that's something, but, the one thing I've been taught by my intelligence is you don't put a keyword that says exactly what it does, because that just confuses the leader even more. I like leadership is like you're kind of like being a guide. And something that John Maxwell says also is that he who thinks he's a leader, but no one is following him, is only taking a walk. Okay? And so, there we go. The best I think I can really offer about leadership. I love the topic of leadership. And I've grown to love and appreciate John C. Maxwell. Listen to some of his, watch some of his videos on YouTube. He really explained leadership. Also, Simon Sinek is another good one to hear about leadership. My personality gels a little bit with Dr. Maxwell, but I also can find Simon Sinek somewhat stimulating. Okay? So we've got about a couple minutes, and we're going to go on to the next. Okay, leadership's a golden nugget, no doubt. But this is part of the crown of the nugget that we're about to go into is creativity. And I think leadership and creativity is hand in hand, especially for an ambivert. I think in some ways all these build upon one another. And I've had proofreaders and even some people, maybe question some of my leadership and my research methods on this. I can question, but the thing is, though, you did as careful research as you possibly could, Jimmy. Let's face it. Not everybody is like had a fancy dancy education. That's true. But here, like I said, we just started the golden nugget with leadership. Okay, the ambivert is where you just dig in. The first golden nugget is leadership. And so now we're approaching here my favorite part, which is creativity. Okay, and so creativity is beautiful. And I think leaders nowadays, especially in the new economy, we have to be creative. That's just plain common sense. Okay? So, get ready. The fun begins now as we talk about creativity. Alright. Here we go. Creativity. I love creativity. And I hope some of you do too. Let me go back to my Noah Webster dictionary. See here where it might be. It's somewhere that thing loves to hide. Having the power to create, or exerting the act of creation, as creative, fancy, creative power. Did you know that creation is a power? I want you guys to think about that, okay? I know I do. I really do. I love talking about creativity. And as entrepreneurs nowadays, we've got to be creative. I think even in the network thing, I think too many people think, well, it's just going out and talking to people. That may be so. But I also think, we're in a new economy. We're in a new age. Where it's a combined age economy. And a lot of business models are stuck in industrial age. And with combined age, that's social media. See, that's where social media can be done for good. But, let me ask you something. Can we create for good? There's plenty of people, social media can be used also for bad creativity and reactivity. You've heard me preach about that all the time. But one thing I'm discovering is it can be good for, surprise, surprise, it can be used for good creativity. People who are not out there being reactive about political ideologies and stuff like that. I have my own political ideology, but I'm not reactive crazy about it. No. But creativity is key. You need to learn to master it, learn to harness it. Because I think too many people in the industries want to stick by the old way. JR, discipline and determination. Well, Jimmy, let's look up discipline. Huh? I'll tell you something. Just like Jimmy, in my home, Mama was the one that did discipline. Instruction, cultivation, and improvement. See, that's the best part right there. Improving, being able to comprehend instructions. Alright? Well, that's a good one right there. I think that's a rule of self-government. Whether you want to think about it. A rule of self-government. Right there. And that's where you need to, Dr. Darrell told McNeil, he said, get rid of I don't feel like it. Because the world is I'll tell you something. The world is full of people ruled by people who don't feel like it. But you know what? You just go out and do it anyway. How do we define determination? Decision of a question in the mind. Firm resolve. Settled. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something quick. You're out there, you're crushing your businesses, maybe that you're not doing so well. You need to make a decision that you need to do what needs to be done. Now, some people conduct business 7 days a week thinking that's the norm. Not on mine and Jimmy's watch. Even the Empower Your Pattern clubhouse is closed unless there's a Sabbath appropriate material, which sometimes there may be, sometimes there may not be. But that all depends on what me and Jimmy decide. Probably not this Sunday. Maybe a little bit more once this series is over. Depends on what goes on with Jimmy. But you're learning quite a bit from there. And now I'm going to take it back to Jimmy here to talk about ethics. You know, when I was first reading the chapter on ethics, Bishop Davis' wife was looking at this, and she's like, Jimmy, some of the stuff you're talking about is putting people in a quagmire. Ethicals. All right, let's see what a founding father has to say about ethics. The act of determining... Oh, no, that's not the word for ethics. Here we go. The doctrine of morality or social manners. The science of moral philosophy, which teaches men their duty and the reasons of it. Now, I know some people go, well, if you don't believe in God, okay, look, I can understand. Whew. I know, I'm getting ahead of myself. I was meant to be talking about ethics here, but might as well. Ethics is you know, I know, John, I was so anxious to give it back to Deal because you told me there was limits of time. Well, yeah, there are, but you still had a little bit of time. So we'll go back, beginning in minute 17. JR, try to elaborate a little bit more, because you're good with discipline and determination, and that's an area where I need some help. Just to be honest with you. Okay, so now, here we go. Ethics. Well, let's go with Noah Webster, okay? The doctrine of morality or social manners. The science of moral philosophy, which teaches men their duty. A system of moral principles. A system of rules for regulating the actions and manners of men in science. Now, I know when I proofread this chapter, and I had Bishop Dave's wife, Emily, proofread this chapter, when she told me, she said, Jimmy, it sounds like they're putting people through a quagmire. Well, that's what a lot of people are thinking today. But I like Noah Webster defining ethics. And most people think, I want you to look at Google's definition. Seriously, you guys are going to croak at how far down we have gone. I mean, you guys are not going to believe this. Moral principles that govern a person's behavior. Okay, that's a good one. The branch of knowledge that deals with moral principles. Okay, so Google's in the right. Praise the Lord. Finally, I think this is a good part here. And because here's the thing. We muddied the waters between ethics and morals. There was a movie called Absence of Malice, and the ending of it was, it was a quagmire type deal. And the reporter lady was telling this judge, but we did what we thought was ethically right. The judge said, it may be ethically right, but it was morally wrong. So, yeah, I tell you something, you don't play games. So many people want to separate ethics from morals. Let me tell you something. That just makes my blood boil. I'm part Italian, Irish, and Indian, and that's enough to make both B and Jimmy mad when people try to separate them. You can't separate your ethics from your morals. Okay? Now, some people are going to be mad at us, but guess what? That's the pan that you're going to be digging in the ambivert floor to get in there. That's the handle. Take the pan by the handle and begin pursuing. Listen to me now. Begin pursuing the gold. I'll tell you something. So many people want to try to muddy the waters and be so dang reactive. There's people who say that they're with you on your venture of success. But then, next thing you know, they change on you and stab you in the back. Well, that's what our next deal is, faith. Good, JR, good. Now, we're going to talk about faith. And what better, right? A Christian on faith is this. JR, how does your faith guide your business? Well, sometimes it's hard, but it's like I've told some people that are trying to go in business with me. You may think that you're a billionaire and you got all these holding companies and staff that's just, to some degree they admire you and everything is so terrifically wonderful. Well, listen to me. If you don't have faith in God, you're nothing. Now, Jimmy and I have a firm belief in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, and we're going to stand on that belief, regardless. Now, I'm not even going to ask Google to define faith. I'm not even going to go there. We're going to go back to my old buddy, Noah Webster. He's a good Christian. To trust God. That's it. Alright. So that draws towards you. And to believe and obey. I want you to think about that. The primitive significance of the verb is to bind and to draw and lead. We've been binded and drawn and led to God. But if you're rich and you have all those things and trappings and everything, and you think that that's going to impress everybody, if you don't have the correct faith in God, and in my view, Jesus Christ, you're going to be sunk. Now, there's people that we know of other religions, and we respect them and their beliefs. We're just telling you our own perspective, because we stand on these things. We stand on these beliefs. Faith is important. It draws us to God. It binds our broken hearts. How many of you out there still got broken hearts? Maybe you've had good friends that passed away or moved away. Or you got friends that turned their back. Maybe you feel lonely. Let me tell you something. Put your faith into your business. And trust God before you trust anybody else. And for Pete's sake, please put your faith in God first. Put your faith in God. That's important right there. You put your faith in God and knowing that He cares for each and every one of you. Read your scriptures every day. Read your scriptures. I want you to think. Believing and obeying God. I want you to think about that. You're resting in God. You're resting in Christ, and that's all that's important. And now we're going to go back to Jimmy to discuss goals. Goals. Yes, goals. You guys know how much I love goals. One thing that I hear talk about with Presley Swaggerty, the coach, the end of final purpose, the end to which a design tends, or which a person aims to reach or accomplish. Now, there's some other definitions that are more archaic, because that came first. But you gotta understand, it's because America was fresh out of the British Empire. And so they had their own. If you look in the King James Bible, sometimes you'll find some old words. Some of them are familiar to us, that maybe we don't know what they mean. And so that's the blessing here. I want you to write your goals down. Maybe it's time for me to do that for April and May. I'm probably going to do the exercise as soon as I'm done, okay? Now, blessings of that. You put in your goals. You work hard on your goals. This is something I need to do every day, and it'll probably help me, guide me to be more effective, is to look at my goals and see where I want to be, and then put together a plan and work hard towards that plan. That's what you got to do. 6 of the 7 days a week. Now, 7th day, that's the Lord's day. You rest on that day. You put God's first. That's what matters. And I really think you should be talking to Him first thing of the day. See, all those things, ethics, faith, and goals, they go in there together. They really do. And you need to see that. Alright, because we love, me and Jimmy, we love talking about goals. Goals are important. Now, I love Noah Webster. But let's define goals to Google. It's a bit more modern translation. The object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. Ambition is important just as long as you don't get too ruthless. You ruthless, you think you're going to win. But if you win, in some cases you come back down again. Ruthlessness is like bipolar disorder, a seesaw. You want to stay away from that, right? So now we're going to go into networking. Networking. Jimmy, I love this one. I don't expect Noah Webster to do this, so we're going to consult Google. Dr. Della Toro McNeil says that we need the networking. What network? Like it's going out of style. So, what is networking? The action or process of interaction with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. I like that. Networking. Going to conferences. Getting involved in local clubs. You know, those things really matter. Networking, I gotta tell you, sometimes I feel like I could do a lot more of that. I'm disabled. Of course, I live at home. And I do most of my business at home because I'm really, being legally blind and not able to really travel. I don't get it out as much as I'd like. Shoot, if I could see, I think I'd be out almost every day. But that's the thing, maybe even go to meetups if you can't get out. Go to meetups and see if you can meet people. Ask the Lord to help you find the right networks. That's what I had to do. Because I felt like I needed the networking to give my business life a purpose, and that's why I joined ACN, believe it or not. Okay, so networking is important. Toastmasters. I love Toastmasters. Also, Rotary, Optimist Club, Lions Club, anywhere else that you can get into to network to help people get you to where you need to be. Because that's the blessing, my friend. That's the blessing, and don't you ever give up. Don't you ever give up. Because you know something? The Lord knows where the blessing is for us. And He has that. You must say, well, Jimmy, why do you put the Lord in for your search for the gold? Well, why not? He's the one that led me to Toastmasters. He's the one that opened after COVID for the bank to have us to start meeting together. And you know something? He's opened up the door for me to be part of ACN. So there you have it on goals. That's networking, rather. That's number 8. Number 9 is service. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and mention you up to you, JR, if you don't mind. And then after that, we'll talk about adversity and see where we lead. After that, we'll probably hint at some things. For one thing, the millionaire mindset, no doubt. That's going to be something that helps. Okay, so get ready. We're now going into the section on service. Gerald? It reminds me of the John F. Kennedy quote. He was president of the United States. And, my granddad didn't vote for a party, but he voted for man. And John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Obviously. Oh, I see the problem right there. What is service? Lady or a body and mind, performed. Oh, no, that doesn't sound like that for service. No, let's see here. Not grabbing too many directions. Now I don't have to consult Google, but we ain't got no choice. So, sometimes these things are fickle. Here it is. The action of helping or doing work for someone. You're helping someone, that matters. That matters the most. You're blessing the life of somebody. You can't say that you're a billionaire, and you're saying you're servicing your fellow man, but maybe you're doing half-heartedly. Let me ask you, what does that say about your business life, huh? What does that say about you? You know, we have a passage in the Book of Mormon that says this: "Behold, I tell you these things, that ye may know that when you're in the service of your fellow beings, ye are only in the service of your God." And so, I'm going to go ahead here in a bit, let Jimmy take over for the rest of the thing, because, well, he deserves to have some time, just him. And if he needs me to take over again, he will. Okay, guys. Service. I'll tell you something. Jesus Christ said it best: "Inasmuch as ye have done it unto the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me." Somehow I think the value of service has been misplaced. It's more than just working for somebody else. You know what? Sometimes it's being a kind ear. And people can get mad at me for saying like this, but there's people right now that are going through a lot. I experienced that yesterday with Toastmasters with a good friend of mine. Now, he delivered a 47-minute speech, and I'm aware that that's out of protocol. And people called me out of that. But people have to understand, we're being servants. And sometimes that means being supportive of one another. I'll be honest with you, it hurts. What's going on hurts, but you know what? Service is just more than just going to do the same customary thing all the time. It's also giving a kind ear. And to be honest with you, that's part of the millionaire mindset. Yeah, see, I'm dropping a gold nugget here. And I know, okay, alright. Now, verse 10, adversity. This is where service goes into, you know. It's more than just helping somebody fixing somebody's porch, or showing up at like a service club's meeting and finding out the agenda for the day. How about we start? There's people going through adversity right now. Okay, one of the things I like to define myself is an adversity authority. And part of it means giving kind ears. I understand many of us have a business to run and stuff, but there's people out there who are suffering and maybe want to succeed and they need help. And if we don't do it, shame on us. Shame on all of us. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get preachy, but it's kind of like, you know, not everything in life is wrapped in a pretty little box. And when you're digging for gold, that ambivert thing, that's some deep stuff. You go deeply into your personality. I wrote the winning personality when I was pretty low. Pretty low. Because I didn't think I had the winning personality. Part of that winning that personality is to overcome adversity. You've got to be able to overcome adversity. And at the same time, you overcoming the adversity, you can understand another person's adversity. Be mad at me all that you want. Be mad at me all that you want, but I have to say my piece. If you want to search for the gold, sometimes you get your hands and your fingers dirty. Getting in the dirt. That's just how it is, okay? That's part of the millionaire mindset. We have to work hard. Okay, JR, take over. for a little bit, because I can tell Jimmy's kind of getting overwhelmed, so I'm going to take back over. I'm going to say this. If you're an ambivert and you're searching for that gold, you want that big prize, but yet you got issues where you don't like it when another person's suffering from some kind of adversity and things going wrong and we can't understand, and what we don't understand will kill, shame on you. The rest of this series may not be for you. Alright? Because I'm going to say this. We can sit there about the glitz and glamour of success and everything, but success ain't just being the millionaire. This part of the millionaire mind says this. The process of becoming. It's the process of becoming. And if you don't want to work on the become, and do the work, and do what's necessary, in realizing that people got to help people that struggle, I'm going to say this. Shame on you. Shame on you. We can't keep playing these games. We can't keep playing these games. Alright, listen to me. I'll hand it back here to Jimmy here in a little bit, but I realize he's hurting, so I had to put this out. Because, tell you something. Jimmy's been through a lot lately, and there's times when he feels like that the world is running over him, so he asked me to take over. I may do it for tomorrow's episode, I doubt it. All depends on how Jimmy feels. Because right now, he's going through a lot. Sometimes I gotta take things up. Oh, okay, JR, you can stop. Now listen, I apologize if I came on strong. But I felt like it had to be said was said. I feel like I've said several times, and you guys know this, I feel like sometimes my podcasting is like therapy. Believe it or not. Sometimes it does better for me than therapy. I just let that stuff out, and sometimes and there's good in the end, okay? Most of you who are listening, you want to dig for the gold. You're getting what I and JR are talking about. I know you are. But there's some people I know that want it to be easy street on the way. I am 53 damn years old, and I'm telling you right now, it's not. Okay, better stop. Because Jared wants to come out and play, and we're limited on time. And I want to tell you guys this. I love you, and I want to encourage you right now. If you're out there and you're suffering, you're going through a lot, I hear you. There's pain in this world. There's pain in this world. A lot of people experience it. Alright, JL, for just a minute. You know the old saying? I had a couple uncles, and my daddy always said, boy, no pain, no gain. Let me tell you something, it's true. Sometimes you want to succeed, you want to get to the top, you got to go through some pain. Back to you, Jimmy. And I want to help you guys. Believe it or not, I know I probably came on strong in this meeting, but I want to help you guys. I really do. Because I tell you something. I care about people. I care about people wanting to succeed. But the problem is, our society is so reactive now. I think we've been lulled so much into being reactive, we don't even know how to succeed. And let me tell you something that's sad. That's just downright sad. But I'm not gonna fly off the handle. You're not gonna see me cry. because, and I realize this is a lengthy podcast. Sometimes, lengthy podcasts, it takes me some time to speak my mind and say some things. You've learned the 10 keys to really be an ambivert to begin your search for gold. And we have 2 more episodes help you to begin the search for the gold, and then we got the rest. And hopefully, between now and Monday, nothing earth-shattering will happen again, unless it's good. Let's pray for the good, folks. We've seen enough of the bad news, because we need people to walk together. And I know life ain't always pretty or pleasant, but you know what? It's going to be every bit worth it. I stand with you guys. Do you know that? And JR does too. Yes, he sounds tough. He sounds mean. I've had him come out during a therapy session, and my therapist said, "Jimmy, your alter ego sounds harsh." I said, "He's not harsh. He just says what needs to be said. The stuff that I'm afraid to say." We're both softies. The difference between me and him is, well, he's a little bit more outspoken. And I hope you can begin to understand. We're nearing the end of this episode, and I will be with you guys soon. So hang in there and know that we at Pattern Realm and the James Hendrick Empowerment Network love you and care about you. And now I hope that you enjoy listening to Empower Your Pattern. Like what you hear, please join Pattern Realm, subscribe. Until next time, don't just sit there and take it. Build your dreams so you can take it. Do what others don't so you can do what others won't. And do what others won't so you can go out there and have what others can't. Please share this with Mama San, Papa San, and everyone. This is Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, choose, act, and pursue happiness. God bless each and every single one of you. God bless you. I love you.